What if you could silence the noise of the world and access inner bliss? What if you knew the shining formulas for overcoming the enormous challenges that every soul faces? Welcome everyone, I'm Shakti Durga. Mystery School Podcast, Ancient Wisdom for Everyday Life. We'll explore the ancient wisdom of the East and West, sharing stories and music, channeling light beings, scanning the unseen world, learning useful spiritual tools, and bringing forth peace, love, purpose, and abundance. In Mystery School, we co-create and share sacred frequencies, sending ripples of love that empower new possibilities to ignite our spirits, overcome obstacles, manifest our most inspired life, a life where your challenges become doorways to your deepest truth, where you anchor yourself in clarity and presence, not from your pain, but from the doors it opens into the deepest wisdom that's already within you. Your path has already begun. It's right beneath your feet. Let's illuminate that path together.
Welcome, everyone. What a great show we have for you. I'm Dr. Pat, and I get to take this incredible journey with the most amazing person, Shakti Durga. And today, it is a topic that I know many, if not all of you, will resonate. Why do we know that? We get your emails, we get your call-ins, we get your chats. You all got my cell phone now. So yes, questions are, can I ignite my spirit? And if so, how do I go about it? Because Shakti Durga, I have to tell you, what people don't put together is, I'm feeling down. I'm uninspired. I'm not motivated. I don't feel the spark. I hear this, but this topic is so important. You wrote a book about it. You have a course about it. So obviously you've got a little experience, right?
Well, yes, plus my own experience of my own consciousness changing through igniting my own spirit, which I think, by the way, is a continuum. And so I think it's something that happens for your whole life. But there are certainly some ways that we can change those patterns. And I think now there's quite a lot of information in the public domain about the energy field, about the chakra system. And we know that we've got 7 major chakras and that this one's the base chakra and it's related to the ground and manifesting and stuff and so on. We know all that. But I think what we don't understand is that these energy centers are what connects us to the luminous nothingness that is the divine, and also to our own font of wisdom, which is our own higher self, and that the chakras are the doorways. And so if you might say, why have you got 7 doorways? Well, you just do. That's the way we're designed. And I think that we're meant to be able to expand our awareness out of those states that you're talking about, like depression, which I've experienced earlier in my life, and anxiety and all these things, and into something really magnificent. So when we're experiencing something like depression, we've got a slowing down of the chakras. They usually spin backward and forward like a washing machine agitator, back and forward, spinning energy in and out of your body. But when we get depressed, most of them have gone, whoa, and they can hardly operate. And we all know what the symptoms of depression are. But if you actually went through the list of symptoms of depression, you have the exact list of what happens when your chakras close down according to the Vedas. So I think it's, there's just so much more that's going on inside of us beyond our conscious mind. And I mean, the conscious mind is so important, but we need to use it to access the rest. So igniting the spirit it's an adventure of spirit and soul when we're igniting the spirit. Yeah.
And let's talk about this, because you're also set up, you have a beautiful platform, and Ignite Your Spirit, the Centers of Consciousness, the online course with Gayatri and you as well. Yeah. This is what we all need. And now, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Today was a very big financial day for me, speaking to this person, that person, and I have to do it from this room. So I don't go into my office on days that I'm focusing on our expansion. crowdfunding for the board game. You know what I'm saying? That involves other people, right?
Mm.
And when I have a Zoom meeting and there they are and they look, nobody says anything, but they calm down and we still have a conversation. And so I want to ask you is, what can we do? And there are many benefits to ignite the spirit or ignite spirit healing. But especially if you've been wounded around something, what can we help people with today so that we don't avoid that thing and we can engage in life?
Well, you name it, really. When you start working with the chakras, all kinds of things happen. And we're working on two fronts at the same time. One is looking at life and saying, oh, well, there's this problem, there's this problem, this problem. I want to solve those problems, which is natural and is the creative desire that's inherent in us. The other part of it is I want to remember who I am. And I want to remember my connection to the all that is. And so we're working on both when we work on the spirit. And when we get spirited, there's so many more things in life that we can accomplish, whether it be business transactions, whether it be the health of our bodies. There's so many things that we can look at differently. I've found myself that with the speeding up of the chakras through spiritual practices used over time, you actually think differently, and the chakras will affect the way your mind works. Yeah. And the way your mind works also affects your chakras. It's a two-way street, you know. In centers of consciousness and some of the other programs we run, we help people learn to scan their chakras so that what they can do is see, is this thing helping me or hindering me at the moment? And if you get an expansion of your energy field, the thing is helping you become a better version of yourself, helping you solve an issue. But if the thing starts to shrink you when you ask a question, should I do this? Am I going to do that? If it starts shrinking you down, then you start to understand, well, in my personal situation at this time, that leaks energy out of me. My spirit is diminished by that. So being able to scan energetically is something that, I was a left brain lawyer when I first got exposed to it, and I was not very fast at learning. But then I suddenly realized one day I was seeing it rather than feeling it with my hands.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so I was seeing people's energy fields moving. And so that's what happens in a lot of our classes, that people become super sensitive to energy, and then they have more clarity about what's right and what's not right for them. And this helps growth enormously. It helps us solve our issues.
Now, you and I have something in common on our screen. In your background, I think it's a beautiful scroll, and it has the chakras on it. Yeah. Now, you have to understand my journey is a little different. And so my introduction to chakras is I did glass work. And even though you and I don't have a scroll, the glass pieces you see, I have 7 of them. You can't see them all. But that was my way to relate to the chakra system. And, I didn't put them up for a while because somebody said to me, you can't do that. You can't separate the chakras like this. And I thought, but this is what was in my heart to create.
You got to go with what's in your heart.
Yes.
And I don't think it's anybody else's business, really. I think it's what's in your heart.
Exactly. And the space I'm in, if you were to see the space I'm in, it is surrounded by that. But glass work for me was something so passionate for me. I don't do it anymore, but I loved it. I love glass. And so each of the pieces behind me has a different energy. You'll notice the orange-red piece is bigger than some of the others. And then I have another piece over here. But the point is not that. The point is, we have to allow ourselves to experience what you're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Otherwise, how are we going to ignite anything?
Yeah. And one of the things that's really helped me is being around people who've already ignited their spirit. That's what got me really started and kick-started the journey, is that people really can share blessings with each other. And this is a very profound thing. It's an ancient tool for self-realization. In the East, it's called Shakti. and the gifting of that energy, it creates an inner fire in the person. You can feel it internally, and it often turns into bliss. And what it does is it goes boom through the spirit and kickstarts everything. So in our seminars, we're not just giving people information, we're actually giving them the Shakti so that they can ignite their spirit. And that's, it's different to having a conversation about it today, because we do all the practices, which you can't really do in a few minutes, but during the seminar we can. And it really does move people. People will be different by the end of that program.
Let's talk about the seminar, because I want people to understand one thing. I did not get here. I was asked in an interview this morning about how did you, or it was an interesting question. How did you become the owner of the Transformation Network? It was kind of like tongue in cheek, like not a very supportive question. And I had everything behind me. But here's the one thing that I said, and this is what I want to encourage people to do to visit what you're doing. I said, I entered this as a newborn 22 years ago. Yeah. And I studied, I learned, I put the walls behind me. I cleared. I took one thing at a time. But this, what you're talking about, is ignite your spirit and centered of consciousness. You must study. You must be part of it. You must experience it, because you can read about it in any book you got out there, but it's not going to change you. So talk to us about this and what you're doing and how people can find out more about it.
Well, usually in the program, what we do is we discuss a concept, but then we do it. So it's only just enough for the mind to be relaxed about the fact that we're actually going to enter into our spirit and we're going to connect with our soul, and we're going to speed up those chakras, and we're going to have an experience of the inner fire. So it starts in July, this program, and it's going to be online, but we find that the Shakti part travels through the internet amazingly well, because the energy is non-local, So it's quite a significant journey for people to be on. And I find that we just go into such unity, and that's part of the journey as well, is the journey of finding the whole self through going into unity with other people and with parts of ourself that we have forgotten about. So that's really the journey.
And how do we sign up? I mean, well, first let me ask, is registration open? And how do we go visit this? Because I'm very interested in this. This is for somebody like me. In July, you said? June? Yeah. July? Yeah. That is a perfect time frame for me. So what is the best place for people to go?
Our website, shantimission.org, has got the information about signing up, and you'll find it on the website, shantimission.org. And Shanti Mission is all about finding peace. The mission is peace. And so we find also that when the chakras really speed up, that you can hold peace in a growing set of circumstances. So not just when everything's going right. That's not empowerment. Empowerment is when you can hold peace when everything's terrible, when people are picking on you and asking you unkind questions, and when the world is going crazy, Imagine if you had the power that you could look at all of that, you could understand what's going on, but you could actually churn the energy that's coming into your spirit and into your system, that you could churn it through the living divine fire that's inside you, and replace that energy as a gift to the world with a pure, loving, peaceful essence. Can you imagine if we had enough people who could do that? And this is empowerment. This is spiritual empowerment. And this is really why we run these seminars, to help people grow into their full self,
I love statistics, and I want to tell you to support you in what you're doing. The latest statistic here in the United States has an unprecedented low for people that are experiencing joy in their lives. Unprecedented 44%. 20% of the population, this is the latest poll, 20% of the people here are lonely every day, not once in a while. 20% are lonely every day. And without what you're doing, it is very difficult to find your way to your pathway or a pathway. I don't care if you pick the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
That's what this is going to help with.
Yeah.
It's an experience, but it's going to help people guide to the bigger sense of themselves, isn't it?
Exactly. And when we go into loneliness, often depression is not far away. And that closing down shuts us off from our actual inheritance of children of the infinite, and whatever path you're walking, the principles are the same, that we need to connect to something greater than ourselves. And the hardware through which we can do that is our spirit. That's our energy field, our aura, our chakras. And so to be not sure what they are or how to use them, we can't fulfill what we're here for without knowing about this equipment. And so that's why, to me, this is one of the most important things. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break in a minute, but this is so important now. People look at me and they must look at you and they must think, oh my gosh, they don't have a worry in the world, these two. Just look at them. Chakras in the background, talking about. That's not the case. The case is, how do I get through my day just like everybody else out there? Yeah. How do we get through our day and hold the essence of that level of peace? And without the proper tools, and I say proper because I'm talking about the spiritual essence of who we are, tools that you're teaching, that is a long, hard road that you don't need to take.
Exactly. Yeah, there's lots of shortcuts, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but there are just so many shortcuts that people could be using to feel better and to connect and to really recognize what an amazing and unique individual that they are, and to let their light really shine. And that's what
we're going to demonstrate this right now, because it's one thing for us to talk about it, but it's another thing for us to demonstrate it. We're going to take a very short break, and we've got something very, very important, and you'll watch how this works in action. Shakti Durga is going to demonstrate how to make transformations that many of us don't believe is even possible. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thanks for joining us, Gabriella. Lovely to have you with us. What I wanted to demonstrate, and thank you so much for volunteering, is how the chakras configure in a person and how that configuration will affect their consciousness. So I'm just going to have a quick look at your chakras for this. And immediately I'm struck by the large and beautiful crown chakra that you have, which signifies that there's a lot of divine connection going on here. I can also feel some stress, and I can feel the way in which there's a lot of alchemy happening at the moment. I'd say you're midway through some kind of expansion process, and that it's showing up in your crown chakra as a great opportunity, and it's just needing that you follow it through and not sink back into any of the old patterns that might have been there before, whatever the lift was that you had. The Ajna chakra is looking like it's got a great deal of clarity and capacity to perceive through the veils of illusion. And so I'd suggest that you trust yourself a lot more than you might be, because it's there, the development is there. The Ajna chakra is amazing. Your throat chakra is also in good condition, which means that you're able to organize your thoughts and manage information in a way that gives you cogency in your life, which is beautiful. And it's well balanced with the Ajna chakra, which is important too, in terms of how things sit for you. Your heart chakra is good too, and there's a lot of feeling of love. There's a great beauty and softness in the heart center. It does feel like there's a little depletion, which comes sometimes with giving more than you receive. And I'd open that heart a little bit more to knowing that you're okay to receive. So at the moment, your solar plexus chakra, which is a lot about feeling that I'm okay and that I deserve, is feeling like there's just something that's making it a little defended at the moment. And when we're in a defended state, we often find that we'll attract people who attack because we're defended. And so one of the things we can do is just breathe through that tendency to want to defend and put your beautiful heart forward instead. And because you've got it, you might as well use it, baby. And then the sacral chakra is also strong, and this is all to do with sexuality, sensuality, but also creativity, and it feels like you're a highly creative person and that you're utilizing that energy quite well at the moment. It's very strong. And then finally, the base chakra, which connects you to the earth and security, abundance, all those things. Now, that one feels a little depleted compared to the others. It's like you've got this massive set of amazing spiritual gifts sitting there, and then the base chakra is going, oh, I don't know if I can bring this all through into the earthly plane, And so does this feel like you? Does it sound like?
Very much.
Yeah, so if I was working with you, I would suggest more base chakra work. I would suggest that we get in there with connection to the earth, connection to nature, connection to the ground. Think about mountains, meditate on the earth, and just allow yourself to open that channel and to allow the incredible beauty of your spirit to really come into the world, because the world needs you, And what I often find is that people who are very worldly tend to have huge lower chakras, but they don't have very big upper chakras. And to them, the inner world is almost invisible. Whereas spiritual people have enormous upper chakras and often have smaller lower chakras, making it difficult for them to really ground the goodness that they are already in connection with. So you're getting there. You really are. And your chakras are much stronger than the average person. And even, the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, really in good condition. The base is also in good condition. It just needs to grow a little more. So I would say congratulations, and just a couple of little refinements of what you can focus on, including trusting yourself that your third eye is really working well and bringing more heart instead of defending yourself in interactions. And they would be the things I would suggest would give you the most bang for your buck at the moment.
Thank you. That really fits with what I've been perceiving for myself. So thank you for that.
Oh,
it
excellent.
really helps. Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
Gabriella, what questions do you have?
I'd like to know more about when you actually do your training program, that like what people might want to know about, particularly about how they can do it online, because it seems like it's such a great opportunity to have that be available no matter where you are on the planet.
That's right. And we run the program in 2 time zones. So I'll be running the one that's more suitable for Americans. It'll be in the afternoon online. And my daughter, Gayatri, who's been doing healing since she was 9, she's running the evening program here in Australia, which will suit people living in Europe. So there's two different, and you get access to both. So once you enroll in the program, you can also do Gayatri's program if you're doing mine, and so on. So you get this incredible resource that you get to keep, plus a lot of meditations that are, and we get the book. There's a lot. There's about over $2,000 worth of value, I think, that's given to people in the program. And we have a special on that we're doing it for Australian $199, which I think in American is at the moment something like $99. I don't know. I'm not up on the exchange rate, but I know that our dollar isn't strong. It's an incredible special. We're doing it because we just want to give this work to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am definitely interested. Given what we've talked about earlier today, that spark, you see, that ignite that spark. I think that's the hardest thing for people right now. One, they don't remember that they have a spark, or 2, the ability to light the spark, and then what to do after you do ignite the spark.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Gabrielle.
Thank you, Gabriella. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I have to listen back to this. This was so good. One more time, tell people how to register and sign up, and the dates again, if you don't mind.
It's shantimission.org. And it's in July. I'm sorry, I just don't have
it's
the
right
date.
on the homepage. If they go to your homepage, it's right there. And they'll be able to really register. There's a little button that says register here. It's all laid out beautifully. Thank you.
Great.
Shakti Durga, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. Gabriella, thank you so much. I just so love that you showed up for this today. And you're right on. This is something that it's not a textbook's going to help you connect with. Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break, everybody. Thank you for tuning us in. We'll see you next time right here with more to ignite the spark within so you can do great things in the world. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining me for Mystery School, Ancient Wisdom for Everyday Life. Be the detective of your spirit and soul and seek the doorways to a new reality. Take one insight from today and let it illuminate your path. Visit shantimission.org to learn more about our other programs, meditations, and resources for living with ease and grace. And sign up for our free Soulful Relationships Masterclass. In this class, we'll cleanse and purify the relationship energy in a key relationship in your life. Previous students have experienced rapid transformation in their marriages, in their relationships, with family, work colleagues, teenagers, just from this one practice. And you'll have a spiritual key to successful relationships that you can use again and again. Sign up for the free masterclass at shantimission.org. And we'll be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time every first and third Monday for Mystery School. Mark it in your calendar. We'll see you next time.